5.
Get out. Like, seriously, get out. Like, right now.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everybody, happy Monday. Welcome to Tomb of the Terrible. As you can see, our humble UncleNecRo is not here to host, so your not so humble host, Delphine, is here filling in. We are still in the middle of our Amityville Horribles season, and tonight we picked out, well, we let the wheel pick out a movie suggested by somebody here that was called Amityville Death Toilet. And yes, it is exactly what you think. We are going to say that Monstered here definitely has some things to say about this. But before we get started, we have a special guest on the show tonight. We have Sam Panico. Is that right, Panico?
You got it.
I should check beforehand. But from BNS About Movies, who we discovered last week had watched at least 53 at the review that we read of his, and we tracked him down because we were just like, holy shit, who in the hell would do this to themselves and why? And also, what can you tell us about being an Amityville spinoff expert? So we want to say hi to everybody real quick. Hi, Tom Dog. Thanks for joining us. And Friday in Chaos. But Sam, please, we got you on here, and we just really want to know, why did you do this to yourself, and how has it impacted your life?
Well, my love for Amityville starts back in the 80s, obviously, like most folks, because the first movie is horrible. Like, the first Amityville movie is not good. But the second Amityville movie is incredible, Amityville 2, The Possession. It's one of my favorite movies, and when I was a young Catholic kid, the Pittsburgh Catholic would always do their list of what movies were morally objectionable. And Amityville 2 was so high on the list that our priest actually talked about it in a sermon and said that any Catholic should never see this movie. It is one of the most anti-Catholic movies ever. There's one scene in it where the priests hang up on a family instead of saving them because they all want to go skiing. It's awesome. It's very, very Italian. The original cut's even worse. There's a lot taken out of it, but it's pretty great. I love it. And I like Amityville 3's all right, the 3D one, and the 4th, the TV movie one, is pretty good. Any movie that has like a cursed lamp, right? Come on. That's pretty awesome. And then sometime in the midst of, we're in this streaming glut where there's new movies all the time, people realize that, hey, Amityville is available. You can use Amityville. Like, there's no copyright on the town. So all of a sudden, all this huge glut of these movies came out. One of the first ones I got is a movie called Amityville Mount Misery Road, which is a combination of Amityville and a road in New Jersey, and called Mount Misery Road That's Haunted. It's two people that did it with an iPhone, a husband and wife from Florida. And the wife is, I'm going to say this very nicely, I believe that she's a mail order bride. They're very much in love, but like he's like kind of like a rock star that has become an insurance salesman, and they make these movies together. They've actually sent me a couple of them. It is as good as you would imagine that two people shooting an Amityville movie in the woods with an iPhone is. There's a plastic canvas cross that appears at one point. It's pretty awesome. So I was like, wow, I can't believe this movie exists. And then they said, hey, do you want to interview us? And I was like, God, did you read the review? The review was like brutal. Like, and I'm usually never that mean in reviews. And they loved it. They're like, oh, we love your review. So then I was like, I was in Walmart and I found their movie in Walmart. And I'm like, first off, how did this get made? Second, how did this movie end up in Walmart where normal people, unlike me, could buy it and be like, oh, obviously from the cover, this is an Amityville movie. And, we know what Amityville is about. Is this a new Amityville? I've been waiting for one. No, it's not. It's whatever these are. And then that made me go into this whole craze of, holy cow, there's 50 Amityville movies on Tubi. And I should start watching them. And now, like, I haunt Tubi, and I have a couple of distributors. They find out when there's a new Amityville movie. Like Amityville Karen came out, and I had it like before it came out. Amityville in Space, I sent it to me while they were finishing it. And it's like, I love the idea that these movies exist. I know that objectionably they're bad movies, but honestly, my theory of movies is I don't necessarily believe in bad movies. Like, I think all movies are kind of a miracle that they happen, but these ones maybe not as good miracles. The other story I always tell people is that in order to get lots of hits to my website, I sold my soul to a lesser demon. And part of the rules of the lesser demon were that I had to watch every Amityville movie and every Tubi original. These are both horrible things that I've taken on myself, but I'm willing to do it for people.
And what do your friends think of this?
My friends all know that I'm nuts. My brother says to me all the time, when they talk about movies, they're like, oh, you haven't seen this movie that's in the theater, but you certainly saw the 97th Amityville movie and a shitty Spanish movie about mummies having sex. You've seen all those. And I'm like, yes, of course I have. But like, I want to be surprised by movies, and certainly these Amityville movies will surprise you. Like, there's one Amityville in the Hood where the house gets transported to Compton, and they plant the weed on the grounds, and they grow it as Amityville Possession, and it's a weed that possesses you and makes you crazy. That's in the same universe as Amityville in Space and the Amityville ones that have the monkey, the Amityville toy box. Those are all in Dustin Ferguson's universe. He made like 5 of these movies. They have a continuity. There's an Amityville cinematic universe, at least for those ones. None of the other ones are connected, but I dream of like a connected universe of these. I want continuity between them.
Amityville Exorcist is in the same continuity as that one as well, right?
Yeah.
With that is the worst cost, and that's one we might get a chance to watch, guys. It's on our list. But that was one of the ones.
When you get into these movies, terms like worst and bad suddenly stop having meaning. Like, it's like, it's just like, I guess it's kind of like, do you want to have diarrhea or constipation? They're both shitty. But it depends on what level you like to enjoy it. So do you want watery diarrhea, or do you want some that has a little bit of a chunk to it? And that's kind of what watching these are. But I love Amityville movies, and I have an idea for one that I'm actually writing, and it has a lot to say about small town America and the destruction of the mom and pop stores.
You're going to have so many people that are going to be willing to help you make that too, because you've watched all their movies. You can be like, hey, Sean, Dustin, hey, you want to give me a hand? Can I use your house as a set since it's been a couple?
Amityville Dollar General is the name of the one I'm doing. There's a Dollar General every 13 miles across America. So, but there has to be one in Amityville, and it has to be cursed. Like, everything they sell there has to be murderous. So I don't think Dollar General would give us the right. So I'm probably gonna have to change the name somewhat. But it's gonna happen. I'm pretty excited. I think that's the right idea.
I think it sounds great. As long as you have a yellow sign, everybody will know what you mean. All of the Dollar Generals or anything, they have the yellow sign. And if you're in the South, they have a Waffle House directly across the street from them that they like got the same yellow sign together and then just went and bought separate letters for.
We
Friday
just got
knows what I'm talking about.
our first Waffle Houses around here, so we're all very excited. They're all next to casinos, so it's kind of like a late night world that, you know what I mean, that like the shadow world of the space of casinos goes well with Waffle Houses.
Where are you at?
In Pittsburgh.
Oh, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, where are you guys at? I don't know where you guys are.
I am in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Okay, awesome.
We are in Newton, Texas.
Awesome.
Tom Dog is muted.
And I am in Connecticut.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
so you guys are all over the place. Yeah. There's a really good shot on video movie in Lawrence, Kansas. That was a D&D movie. There's very few like sword and sorcery shot on video movies, and I discovered it this year. So I'm trying to find more of them. That's like kind of the other beyond Amityville movie, like 80s shot on camcorder stuff. It's the other thing that I don't know why. No quality movies will be watched by me. You know, it's if you shot it for $500 and you have someone dressed up in an ape costume in it, 100% I'm going to watch it. I will not watch anything that has won an Oscar. I'm only into watching junk.
We appreciate that on this network.
What was your guys' theory? You said that you had a theory about the site and me before we went live.
What? Oh no, we're terribly intrigued by you, and we're trying to figure out like. I think you answered part of it by saying that you made a deal with the devil is why you have to watch all of these things. But no, we were excited and got ideas because you have movies that we did not know about on your site that look like. I mean, if you wouldn't mind us adding them to our list of like, we should terrorize ourselves with these too, because we have been naughty at some point in our lives and need to beat ourselves. And this is the way we go about doing it, rather, because it's hard to flog your back when you have a rotator cuff injury. So,
if you want good Amityville, I would recommend the Canadian ones that were directed video in the early 90s, like Amityville Evil Escapes, Amityville Curse, and Amityville 92, It's About Time is actually really good. It's got like Shawnee Smith in it. It's got recognizable actors. It has the sweatiest sex scene I've ever seen. Like, it's like no one sweats this much. Like, it literally looks like they got out of the pool at one scene, and like the kids intrude on it. It also has a clock that they found in Amityville. That's like a grandfather clock. That's the thing. Like, anything that's been in the house in these new movies is kind of like what is possessed. So like if somebody left, an iPhone in the house, or if they left like Amityville Karen is about a cursed grapes that they stomp on and they make wine from it. And that's what, then Karen freaks out in the wine restaurant and she ends up getting possessed. The absolute worst one that you should never watch is Amityville Emmanuel, because I was hoping for like, it seems like a great idea. You're like, you can't copyright Emmanuel anymore either. So, because it's public domain, so you're like, oh, it's like a sexy Amityville, right? No, it's not. It's the worst movie I've ever like. It totally let me down. I was hoping for like a Black Emmanuel, Joe D'Amato, Italian freak out, and instead I was given like a PG-13 piece of trash. But what can you do?
That was something that we were actually looking at movies for other seasons as well, but that's something we've had to discuss before, and I don't know if you meant it exactly the same way, but we have discovered that there is a big difference between a bad movie and an Italian movie.
Oh yeah.
If you don't know the difference, because something that like it's like, oh yeah, and then it's just like, what did I just watch? And then if somebody sits there and really explains it to you, you might kind of go, oh okay, but for some people, if it's not their speed, in their mind, it's a very B movie instead of being like a really artistic, in-depth Italian movie. So that's something we've had to kind of argue on. Is it B movie bad? Is it just kind of shitty, or is it Italian?
Movies are my jam, because I'm Italian, but like also it's my jam because like especially like I always look at movies like drugs, right? I always call them movie drugs, and like you start with like Argento's like marijuana, it's like your gateway drug, and maybe Fulci is, and then at some point you discover all these other like lower rung directors in Italy, and you're like, these guys are even crazier. Like Joe D'Amato is one of the craziest. Like when I was a kid, we all watched Cinemax After Dark if you're my age. And he did Emmanuel in New York and Emmanuel in America, same movie, both titles. And like, it's a dirty movie, right? Except it has like snuff movies in it. And like, you see people getting killed at one point and you're like, how did we go from this like travelogue and this girl meeting different people around the world to suddenly being about snuff? And then he made Emmanuel and the Cannibals, which is exactly what it says. She actually makes out with a cannibal girl at one point in it. And you're like, who is this for? Like, who is turned on by this? And that's what's fascinating to me about Italian movies, where a lot of them were made for open air theaters where people would just walk in and they had to keep people's attention. So there shouldn't be any story. And it's just like, how can we keep shocking you and how can we keep you into this movie the whole time? So that's why like random stuff just seems to happen. Also, I love that they're trying to reach out to American audiences. Like in the movie Ghost House, the Umberto Lenzi movie, there's one point where they talk about Simon Le Bon for a good period from Duran Duran. And it's like, nobody in America is talking about Simon Le Bon anymore, but it's like 5 years past it. But they think that this makes us look like an American movie if we discuss celebrities. Like, and Kelly LeBrock gets discussed at one point too. They want to appear American. They actually change all the names of the actors and the directors to American names at times too, which is even more astounding to me. Like Joe D'Amato has over 100 names because sometimes he was doing 8 jobs on a movie. And so he gets a million names, and I love that. Like, it's the puzzle solving of Italian movies is one of my favorite things in the world. So if you ever want really, really bad Italian movies, I'll recommend some. I actually got in a fight in a DVD store about one a couple weeks ago because I bought Black Magic Rights, which is one of my favorite movies. It's a super satanic movie and from Italy. And the guy said, "I'm not going to let you buy this because this movie sucks." And I was like, "Hey, you know what? I hate this store." So I'm like, "Go fuck yourself." Like, it's like a $50 movie. Like, I'm going to buy whatever I want. And he's like, "I just don't recommend this movie." And I'm like, he's like, "Do you know anything about this director?" I'm like, "What?" I actually just wrote an article for a magazine about him. He's like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "Sorry." And so it's like, why are you keeping me from buying product in your store? I'll just go to Amazon and buy it like everybody else does. I'm trying to keep local businesses alive, right?
Yeah, why did you buy it to have in stock in your store if you weren't going to sell it to someone?
Very easy explanation. It's a comic book store that sells Blu-ray. So you know how nice most people are in comic book stores, where it's like, "Oh, you're going to buy that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, cool."
I actually am fortunate. I have very wonderful LCSs that are super encouraging and like reach out. I get it. They've been on the show. They're great folks.
We have 2 in Pittsburgh. One is the worst place to go, but it has great product. And then the other one, I'll say their name, Phantom the Attic, is a great store. It's like an incredible store. And it's right next to University of Pittsburgh. And it's like, they really go out of their way to be really inclusive and have a fun store. And they sold my books when I did stuff. So I always love going there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to like order comics from you now too. I can do that.
Once I start doing more, yeah. There aren't enough hours in the day. You got to watch 3 Amityville movies a day and then write about them. Then you run out of time after that.
I gotcha. So do you guys have any questions for Sam that he hasn't gone over yet?
Yeah, I actually have a question. Have you ever thought about writing any books about your experience of your love for the Amityville movies?
I have, yeah. I think it would be an interesting thing. I have a couple other book ideas too, but like, I think it would be cool to write and really, maybe it should be a self-help book for like how I discovered myself through watching these movies, and it like reshaped. I have another one I've been writing about, like how slasher movies improve my self-image and what are the life lessons that you can learn from slasher movies. There are several, but yeah.
Oh, you sound right up our alley.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to like go over those when you get those written. Have you on?
It's hard though, because like there's such an immediacy to writing for the internet now. Do you know what I mean? It's like when you do it. I've been writing. I write for a couple of zines. Like Drive-In Asylum is beyond our show. There's also a zine that comes out about 2 or 3 times a year, and it's been really fun. It's a lot about the advertising that we do behind us here, and how movies were sold. And then also like, we're very obsessed with like movies that have like 50 titles, right? Like Living Dead at Manchester Morgue has so many titles. You're like, at some point, and a lot of these movies played drive-ins in the 70s for like 12 years, right? So like there's a real good chance you would have seen the same movie multiple weekends and not known you were going to see the same movie. And it's like, I know people were upset about that, but I think that that's hilarious. Like, I think it's like, wow, like, who knew that, these movies played like that? Especially Italian movies would get wildly different titles. Like, All the Colors of the Dark was sold in America as They're Coming to Get You. And the poster looks just like Night of the Living Dead. It has nothing to do with Night of the Living Dead. In the end of it, they cut the last 20 minutes off, so it looks like a zombie attack. This has nothing to do with the movie. But that's what they sold it as. And it's like, whatever gets people in the theater really is what drive-in and grindhouse movies were about. And I love that level of hucksterism, whether it's William Castle or MPM or 21st Century, these like companies that were putting stuff on 42nd Street that were like, or, Dr. Butcher MD had a bloodmobile that had ads for Dr. Butcher, and it blared it and it leaked blood, and they drove it all through downtown New York to get people to go see Dr. Butcher MD, which is like the most amazing thing. To live in that world where these movies were being sold like that. And, movies like, I Spit on Your Grave obviously is a big one. And then Trap Them and Kill Them. Like, that's a great title. Like, I love titles. Pieces is the all-time greatest ad campaign, I think. Who will survive won't be left with them. And like you said earlier, like, it's exactly what you think it is. Like, what a great, it's a movie so good it needs 2 taglines. So yeah. But the normal people are like, that movie sucks. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Like, I can find the peanut in any turd, I guess, is the best way of putting it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know there's some. The only one I can think of offhand that we've watched was Madhouse. Also, there was a little girl. Also, and when she was bad, it was, that movie's.
I love it. The same director as Tentacles, at Olivia Assanitis, and the producer of Piranha 2, Flying Spawn, the James Cameron's first directed movie. Yeah, and Beyond the Door, a ton of, oh man, a master of Italian filmmaking.
When I was little, that scared the shit out of me when just the intro with the rocking chair as it goes and and then I watch it again as I'm older, and I'm like, what?
When I was a kid, the trailers for movies and the commercials that would run late at night for horror movies freaked me out. Like the one for It's Alive, like where they just show the baby bassinet and they talk about, they keep, and you just see like this little cloven hand coming out. Like, I thought that it was going to come out of the TV. I was like 3. It still could, right? And it's just like, I was just terrified of these. Who is this little, is this a squirrel that you have with you as well?
Oh, this is Ratatosker. He just hangs out. He gets drunk. He looks at people and kind of looks, we talk about that. He doesn't actually have a voice that y'all can hear. I explain things to him. I comfort him. He comforts me. It's, he's just part of the show. He just hangs out.
I have a Chihuahua that's about the same size, and he is freaking out on the other side of the door right now. And he often comes in on the show, and he looks like a chupacabra, kind of more than a Chihuahua.
He's more than welcome. I used to have a cat that would come, and she'd like to sit right there because she knew she'd be on the show, but now she's right here. So
yeah, a couple of my cats have been on our show several times. They intrude and dive through the background and stuff, but that's the joy of having them, right?
Oh yeah.
So what has your guys' experience been like Friday in Chaos? Like, how have you guys felt about your Amityville journey so far? Were you prepared for it, or is it like shocked you?
Shocked me, no. Was I prepared for how bad some of them could be? Once I found out they were going to be part of the Tomb of the Terrible wheel, I knew they were not going to be the best movies ever. I just didn't expect them to be as good as the original ones put out.
Yeah.
I was expecting some moderate confusion and severe face palming, but yeah, this one takes the cake.
Yeah. I love that this is like the the 6th in this director's series of Death Toilet movies. He also made another movie called Death Toilet 4, Brown Snakes on a Plane, which is one of my favorite. Like, what a title. I'm known for using a lot of poop metaphors, so he's right up my alley, I guess. Also, the actor in it who plays the priest, he took his name from Gigi Allen, which is pretty rad. So, like, another poop obsessed person. So
it's just a whole series of death toilets.
Yeah, there's like 6 death toilets. Yeah. And then Amityville crossed over. They're like, we should make an Amityville death toilet. Like, yes.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, there's Amityville, everything else.
It's the same ingenuity that brought us Sharks of the Corn. We're like, we should make a Children's of the Corn movie with flying sharks that fly through the cornfield. And that's one of the movies my wife walked in and was like, no, you're shutting this off. Like, we can't watch this in this house.
Hey, James. We miss you.
Yes, we do.
You missed well, I won't say you missed a great one here, but you missed an interesting one here. Hopefully you got to see it. It was something. I don't actually hate this one as nearly as much as I thought I was going to. There actually isn't a level of hatred. There's a level of annoyance, but
how can you hate a movie where the mayor's name is Mayor Dump?
Yeah. True.
Yes.
I've made it. Yeah, true.
The other thing you'll learn about a lot of these Amityville movies is people pay to be in them, and they get like an associate producer credit. So that's why you get a lot of those scenes of people like they're like almost like on streams where they're just talking to the camera and there's no one else around them, or they're like on a green screen. I always wondered, like, what does this have to do with the movie? Yeah, those people paid like $100 to be in it, and like that's how they raised the budget for it.
Like the last Amityville movie where the Zoom people talking to Jason all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Folks, that's how they got in there. Yeah.
I don't know that I would have paid to be in one, but I mean,
I kind of think I should at this point, right? Amityville Thanksgiving is really bad too, and that's a movie of literally just people on cameras talking. It has nothing to do with it. No turkey shows up. There is an Amityville Turkey Day now, though, too, on Tubi, and it's like part of me is like I should. It's kind of like when you have a really bad cut and you're like, I should probably pull this scab off, but I don't want to. I want to let this fester for a while. That's kind of how Amityville Turkey Day has been with me.
As long as it's not Thanksgiving, man.
Or Thanksgiving 3. 3's a little better than 1. There is no 2. Yeah.
Yeah. I made these guys suffer. We did sleepaway camp before last season. And just to be funny, because we have this random wheel picker that had a number of things left on it, I added Sleepaway Camp 2.
With Bruce
that night.
Sister in it.
Yeah, I added it that night and it landed on it. So we had to watch them back to back and review. And I was like, every time I think I'm doing something smart, it's just like, no, this is going to come and bite you in the ass.
Are you guys going to do Thanksgiving movies this year?
Well, we do have Amityville Thanksgiving, so
you should watch Blood Freak is the best Thanksgiving movie. It's about a strain of marijuana that turns a man into a turkey, and it's also a religious movie. It's got like a message and an anti-drug, pro-religious message. It's pretty great. And it's from the 70s. There's actually a Pittsburgh shot remake that Tim Gross and a few guys just redid, and I just found it. Just found out that he did it last week, and he's like, "You should buy this." I'm like, "I already bought like 5 movies. Like, do I need Blood Freak?" Now that when I got home, I was like, "I should have bought that Blood Freak remake."
I don't know. We already had
after suffering
one religious movie on that.
Oh, what was that?
Pray.
What one?
Pray.
Oh, Pray. Yeah. Oh man, I am obsessed with religious end of the world movies. There's a whole series of them. A Thief in the Night. There's 4 of them, and man, they're crazy. Like, religious people make better satanic stuff than any devil worshippers. Like, they're the kings of it. Like, it's a whole movie of believers getting their heads cut off and like people getting UPCs like tattooed on their arms. It's real good. Yeah, I definitely recommend that. And there's another really good one. If footmen tire you, what will horses do? It's awesome. It's another one where communists take over America and they force little kids to stand on pictures of Jesus, and if they don't, they stab them in the eyes. And they show all this.
Oh my God!
Like, yeah, it's great. The same guy made like 4 movies too, and they're all. There's a sermon in the middle of it. Ministry actually used a sample of it. That's where I learned about it, and I was like, where did the sample come from? Then I saw the movie and I was like, this is great. Like, this is the Believer's Hell. The Believer's Heaven is his other one, and it's all about how only 10,000 people are going to go to heaven, so you're pretty much screwed. And it's like, and then it's like an hour and a half of what hell looks like. 200 out of 5 stars. It's a must watch.
Nice.
Yeah. I go down some rabbit holes sometimes, maybe.
Oh no, that's absolutely fine. I was looking at something here real quick, and there you can buy Amityville Death Toilet, the novelization.
Yeah. There were novelizations of everything in the 70s. Like even adult movies got novelizations, which is hilarious to me. But yeah, I think more movies should. I'd love to have a Velocipaster novelization as well.
Oh, yeah. We just had on last night, Jeff Strand and Bridget Nelson were on one of our other shows. And so he just did the novelization of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Recently. So, yeah, so that was fun to have on. It is fun.
The Cruel Jaws one from Severin, which is one of my favorite movies. And they did the novelization of Cruel Jaws, which made me super happy. I'm all for more of those whenever they come out.
Well, okay. I think, I need to push a button. Oh, hi, Dante. We love you too. we get little, if you see in the private chat, that's how we like pass things back and forth. But Dante is their little one. And Dante is the most adorable little one in the world because he has Sleepy Time Cthulhu. Oh. He's like 4 years old and loves Tulu, and Tulu and a puppy keep him from getting nightmares, because if anybody's going to fight off your nightmares, Cthulhu is, He's been sleeping behind the walls of reality so long, he's good at keeping little kids safe in their cribs. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead, and since we said that you would be coming back, hopefully, let's get into doing the roundabout on what we thought of this movie, and do our little thing here. So I'm going to explain real quick, and I'm going to show you guys a couple of the scenes that I took some screenshots of. Some of it while I explain it real quick, and some of it as we go through, because it's like, okay, this happened. But so basically, Amityville Death Toilet is a movie in which the toilet, apparently the only one inside of the Amityville house, is killing everybody who poops on it. And everyone who does seems to have extreme prolonged flatulence, according to the subtitles. And you get various things like, this knife will come out and get you. This blade shall also come and get you, and the results of using this toilet can turn into things like this. This is the quality of special effects that we have going through here. Also, this is my favorite thing. Yeah. Instead of get out, the toilet shouts, leave, a lot. And so that you know that it's an Amityville movie, there are the famous Amityville windows, which are not exactly these, but it's one of the ones they use. It's not exactly those either, which are different than these, because they have a red roof and different trim. And this is the house that apparently has this attached to it. We don't know why. But this is the actual Amityville house, for those wondering. Yes, no, you weren't seeing it wrong. They just decided that those other windows were just good enough. So anyway, people who use this bathroom die, and the Mayor Dump, is really worried, kind of like the same thing that happened in Monstered when a killer poop monster was killing everybody and the Great Chili Cook-Off was coming to town, and they wanted to not lose any of their income. It's almost tourist season in Amityville, and we have a killer toilet. Nobody's going to want to come to town if a toilet is killing everybody in one house. So he sends out for an expert and pulls all the police and everything to kill the toilet. And there's a lot of exposition on this. We bring in a guy who has 199 subscribers on his ghost hunting show, to come in off his vacation and kill the toilet, and wackiness ensues. We go through the house. Yes, there is a killer toilet, and ghost hunting and things. So we'll go into it more after that. But how many of us, was this your first time watching it? You suggested it when it was your first time watching it?
Yes. Because when I saw when I saw it on the list, I said I had to Google it. So I Googled it, and then I put it on my and then I went on to YouTube and see if I could see it on there, and I saw it on YouTube. So if you didn't get a chance to see it, you can see it on my I think my likes is public now, so you can see it on my likes. But do I actually like it? We'll find out.
All right. So this isn't so much likes or dislikes. This is just, and Sam, you're going to have to jump back to your first time watching it. What were your just first impressions of this as a movie?
The movie is charitable for what, I mean, it has a story, I guess, and it was shot with a camera. So I guess that qualifies it. It's better than, it kind of comes like in the B category of Amityville. If we're going to give them grade scores, maybe a B minus. So I wasn't surprised by any of this. I was actually shocked that there were, like I said, less people could actually competently act a little bit, and there wasn't a lot of just people on green screens doing scenes. So that was good. I would have liked to have the toilet actually talk. If the lid actually went up and down, that would have just added a little production value. But I always like to see like what the tagline is, and it's always like a "for God's sake." So I always like write a couple extras. So it should be like, "For God's sake, someone light a match," is a good tagline for this one. I don't know. I didn't mind this one. There's a couple that I've just lost my mind. I'm like, I can't believe that I'm still watching this. So I made it through this one without fast forwarding. So that's a quality score.
All right. Friday in Chaos, what were your first impressions?
You first.
Holy shit. I probably wouldn't have had as big a problem with the movie if it wasn't for the fact they kept showing like they'll do like 15 different takes of one scene, and every single one of those takes are in the movie. And most of them are of the mayor.
You need to get to 50 minutes. Like and however you pad the movie to get to that time, that's what these movies do. It's like, we'll get there, but yeah.
15 takes of the mayor within 5 minutes of each other.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about that later, too.
Oh.
Friday?
In parts of it remind me of that, that rock and roll movie we watched where he was going against Beelzebub.
Oh, with the
idea of the fighting,
the stereo one?
of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trick or Treat? Is that the movie you're talking
about?
Yeah. That's my favorite movie ever.
Yeah. Bring it back.
My first impression was, okay, I'll just start making a poem of how many times this stuff repeats and random stuff on screen. Pills? Why is there pasta salad? And so on.
All right. Tom Dog, first impression.
I'm before I even do that, I gotta say a little tell you a little quick little story about a friend of mine who once did a short story when he was on his own cable access show. Okay. And it was about a doll named Chaplin that he has. And and what this was, it was a Charlie Chaplin doll, and my friend would do these short films, and they were a lot better than this movie that I am regretting this film a lot. So the roasting I will accept, the hate mail I will accept, the torches and pitchforks it better happen.
His fault.
Yes. And when I first saw it, I was like, what the hell is this? And the dialogue with Mayor, the name is actually funny, Mayor Dump. I thought that part is funny, but I didn't get why they kept showing pills in a bowl. There were like these pills in a baggie or something like that, and then he's talking to his talking to his secretary named Melissa. We never see Melissa, and I'm curious who she looks like. And it's like, and they kept cutting to that. Melissa, we got to get this done. Melissa, we got to get this done. I'm like, dude, you already said that. Shut the fuck up. And I'm like, and this guy who goes to the house and has, is supposed to be like, like a ghost hunter and everything like that. And, kudos to him if he is. But I'm looking at him and everything like that, and he has like 199, 100 or some on subscribers and everything, and that's like, dude, I have more than that, and it's like, and it's like, that's not impressive if you only have that many, and even I know that, and I only have 211. Woohoo! And I'm getting there, but anyways, and even it doesn't. It's like, I could provide better dialogue than that guy. And, and that's pretty much how I talk, because ever since I had Bell's palsy, that's, it kind of affected my speech and timing and everything like that. So that's why I stutter sometimes or pause and everything like that. And now I don't want to get to that. I already tortured myself with that many times. But this right here is like, and he's saying that he's going there with hardly any equipment, without any equipment, but yet in one scene he has like this cheap Temu style taser that he uses as a like a PKE meter type of thing. And I'm like, you just said that you weren't coming in with any gadgets. That's one of the gadgets that you're using. And it's like, so he kind of misled a little bit. And, and even the repeating with him too. And it's like, when the toilet says leave, and he's like, I'm trying to leave, but you won't let me. And it's like, and then he goes, and then he goes back in. I'm like, I was getting annoyed. And then the special effects, don't get me started with the special effects. That's like Birdemic has better special effects than that. I'm like,
just getting your first impression here, man. We'll let you rant.
Oh yeah. Oh, believe me. But I will tolerate this movie more. If I had a choice between this movie and House of the Dead, I would choose this movie over House of the Dead. That's how much. And everybody knows how I feel about that movie.
And that's one of our benchmarks. Yeah.
Yes. And actually, I was pretty tame. There's actually, I would have ranted more, but there's only so much time that you have. but yeah, this movie was like, and I didn't get like, I couldn't understand what the zombies there and the smoke from the gun was like, from like click and paint here and everything like that. I'm like, dude, really? And It's a type. It's a type of movie that that should not be watched on Taco Tuesday if you're that squeamish about toilets.
Right. So my first impressions were that this was a better movie than I thought I was going to get myself into. I really was dreading it, and then I watched it. I was like, this could have been so much worse. I was happy to see that the toilet remained pristine throughout the movie because I have horrible nightmares. All of the women in my family have horrible nightmares about filthy bathrooms. And like you're stuck in somewhere you have to go to the bathroom. It'll be like a locker room, and every single one of them is like smeared and disgusting and broken and overflowing, and you can't. So I was like, okay, I got to be ready for this, and it wasn't. They were kind enough to us to at least make the toilet clean the entire time it was going through. That was like something I loved. But I have a theory, and you guys might support me on this or not, that some of the over talking, although some of it was obviously to fill up time. I don't know about the pills. That was something that I caught too. I caught pictures, but I couldn't load enough up to do that. But Mayor Dump, while conveniently going with the theme of the movie, seemed to talk Trumpishly, was maybe a little feeling that I got there. It was I've been there. I've been where it's hard. I've done where it's hard. I've done the hard work, and you can do the hard work. The hard work's there for you. Come on, prove you can. Like, I'm not trying to go anywhere political on this at all, but Trump does repeat himself quite a bit when he's talking, and maybe get a little off subject and then get back on subject, or just squirrel wherever he wants to go. And he talks quite a bit, a lot. Now, the other guy does too, and to himself out loud, which, we all have our moments when we do that, or talk to squirrels or something. But I think that was part of his whole thing, was like, maybe, and I could be wrong. There was also the well, we're going to stare at these trees and we're going to go in circles around the trees.
Oh my God,
seconds.
I was getting motion sickness with that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that part.
Yeah. So that's I don't know about the pills. I'm guessing a bit of the talking was A, filler, B, possibly making fun of Donald Trump. Not sure. But it was.
So we got to get this done.
Yeah. Get rid of the toilet. Kill the toilet. We have the toilet. We need to get income. We need to get rid of this toilet. You need to kill it. This is your job, your expertise. You go in there. I'm not letting you out of town. If you try to get out of town, I'm going to put up roadblocks. You will not be able to leave this town. I hired you because you can go in and kill the toilet, and we need this toilet killed. People cannot die in this town from a toilet being killed. You got to kill the toilet, okay?
You do better dialogue than the movie.
Thank you. I was rehearsing earlier. I was talking to Drew. But, okay. So this is the time where we go around and we say what we enjoyed about this movie. Sam, what did you enjoy about this movie?
I like the idea that you have to hire somebody to fight a possessed toilet. I think that, that part of it is pretty good. Trying to think. This is like the sandwich effect, right? Like you start with the praise and then shit on it and then praise again. So I'm trying to think of some other praise to give it.
If you don't, that's fine.
It didn't have 17 minutes of credits. That's the other trick. Chaos said, they repeat stuff. That's the other trick where suddenly you're watching 20 minutes of credits and you're like, what? Some other directors now, they also take bits of public domain movies and jam them into their movies. And you're like, I could watch this movie instead. But yeah, it's not the worst Amityville movie. It's better than Amityville Vibrator, which is another low bar. Which is exactly what you think it is. I
actually saw that one.
Oh boy, it's yeah. I'm like,
I won't put it on the list.
No,
I can't.
I would not put it on the list. It's got
Don't worry, I'm
putting
it. I'll do that as a special episode on my show.
Yeah, that'll be like
because that show's right up my alley.
Is that Tomb of the Terrible After Dark episode of that? Yeah, it ended. That's another good thing. That's the easy one.
Okay. Friday in Chaos, what did you enjoy about this movie?
It ended.
All right.
There are times when the credits come up that is the best feeling in the world. You're like, oh yes, thank you, credits.
Yes. Well, that it has a discernible plot. It wasn't flashy, and yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Okay. All right, Tom. Now's your time.
Yes. Well, I will say
Sit back.
this. It has a good concept of having a killer toilet inside of a haunted, like a haunted house and everything like that. So pretty much a cursed house. And I kind of like the concept. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah, toilet horror is few and far between. You know what I mean? Outside of the Death Toilet movies, the only one I can think of is Ghoulies 2, which they made a toilet scene because the original had a ghoulie coming out of the toilet, and focus group said that scene wasn't in the movie. Oh yeah, and in this
Monster to judging you.
Yeah, Monster. Yeah,
for forgetting him.
I really want. That's my dream for my new basement. Is they sell the ghoulie figures, and I want to put one in the new toilet. I just want him like coming out. My wife's like, "Those are $300. We're not getting one of those."
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's a life-size ghoulie, whatever size a ghoulie is.
I used to have an irrational fear of like going to the bathroom in the middle of the night and finding a head in my toilet. Don't know why that lasted for like a decade.
I had trauma as a kid because we had a rat crawl up through our sewer pipes while I was going to the bathroom as like a 5-year-old, and I looked down and it was while I was going to the bathroom and it was there. So
well, at least you're already there.
Yeah, so I like jumped off the toilet and my grandfather killed it with a fork and came into the room and said, "Look, what are you worried about?" And was like shaking it. And I was like, okay, so toilet horror is really probably the one thing that gets me. It's my Serbian film is any toilet-based horror because I had my past trauma.
Are you related to Leo Pond in any way?
No.
He kills snakes with hatchets, and he's the owner of the Dorkening.
It was like one big metal like serving fork. Like, why would you use that? Like, that's a good fork. Like, let's not use that to kill the rat.
First thing he found,
and he used that for supper.
Yeah, it was like I think it was like Thanksgiving or something. Everybody was at the house. It makes me sound white trash to say it was the night that Evel Knievel jumped Snake River Canyon and everybody was at the house watching it. But I grew up in a very small town, so yeah, that's the truth.
Okay. So the things that I liked about it, first of all, I don't know why it's there. This monkey just kept showing up in the background, like, ooh, but we never found out why. But
Mojo told me wanted to say that.
Oh,
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm sorry for jumping in, but Mojo had nothing to do with this movie about his appearance in the movie. So
okay, well, I mean, like, I had a guest spot, so we're all in there.
Yeah,
I'll keep Mojo a secret if he keeps me a secret.
Yes.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But yeah, I appreciate that this wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. The film quality it kind of jumped between like, wow, you've got the really shitty camera and then you've got the really crisp, clear stuff. And actually the phone I think was crisper than hey Pyle. I think the phone footage was a lot crisper than the indoor cameras that they were using to go around with stuff, because it was just like, But yeah, I liked that I was able to make it through in one sitting. It is a shorter movie, so that's always a plus with some of these. And And I liked a couple of the callbacks, or at least I think they were callbacks. Like I was showing the crows thing, but there's this part where we don't know what she's from, but the flies come in, and I'm just gonna do the sequence because the flies come in, and then some dead people walk across the screen, and then the crows come in, and I show up, and then fish come around, and the shark is in, and then there's also a velociraptor that just happens to be. These are all things that the toilet fights people with, and I thought those were creative. So I got a chuckle out of that, and it had nothing to do with a toilet, but I really thought at first, if you've seen it is the first Amityville, correct, where the priest is locked in the room, and it's the get out scene where he's like flies are coming at him, and because I was little and I saw that, and because I was born on Halloween, so Dad's like, "Oh yeah, HBO horror, go for it. It's midnight. I'm going to bed. Have fun." And I'm just like, "Ah, I gotta watch this again. Yay!" But yeah, so that was what I enjoyed about it. It had some good silly moments. So oh, okay. Okay, so now we're going to what we disliked about the movie. So Sam, first off, what did you dislike?
I think it goes back to a lot of the stuff everybody else said. It's like if all you can do for your dialogue is just repeat the same scenes again and again, then maybe no one would be upset if this movie was 35 minutes instead of 55 minutes. Do you know what I mean? I don't think anyone would feel cheapened out if they cut 20 minutes. Like sometimes when you watch something, you're like, oh, I wonder if they had any extra scenes. I hope they didn't have any extra scenes for this. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't want any B-roll on the Blu-ray for this. So I think I would trim it down quite a bit. Otherwise, yeah, it's kind of pretty innocuous by comparison to some Amityville movies. I'm like, God, I can't believe it feels like a Bataan Death March to get through them. So this never felt like that. Like you said, you can watch it in one sitting. I'm a big believer in shorter movies. So yeah, I'm going to be very nice to it. That's all I think.
Okay. I do have your review up. So.
I was a lot meaner in the review. In the review, I was a lot meaner. But it's also, you have to realize, like, when some things on the site, it's like someone's like, oh, I love when people are like, you gave Amityville Death Toilet 2 out of 5 stars, but you also gave, I don't know, like Kramer versus Kramer 2 out of 5 stars. I'm like, yeah, I suck. I don't have any taste whatsoever. So, like, in my world, this is as good a movie as a Hollywood movie that costs $2 million. So it's fine. But yeah, it's always in the mood that I'm in at the time.
All right. Friday in Chaos. What did you dislike about this movie? You don't get to say everything.
Mainly the constant repeats. I'm sorry, you don't need to put every take you've done of one scene in the movie back to back to back to back to back to back to back. Yeah. That irritated the ever-loving shit out of me.
The repeats, that they didn't make the lid go up and down while it was talking. The fight scene. Seriously, the fight scene. It's like, so you drew everything from Trick or Treat. I'm gonna fight the toilet like I fought that with less physical things thrown at me. I get digital things thrown at me this time. The fight scene. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Tom.
Okay.
Dog. Ready.
Well, since I started with some things I like, I might as well continue with more stuff that I did not like. The cinematography. Like I said earlier, with the motion sickness and everything like that, I was literally getting dizzy watching when they were spinning the cameras up around. I'm like, dude, really? Why? the special effects, they Birdemic had better effects than that. It would the blood. Now, everybody knows that if you're going to make a horror movie, you got that's done in color, you have to use like fake blood capsules or raspberry like a raspberry jam like syrup, because that makes also fake makes good fake blood in cinema. Why did this one guy that died in the beginning of the movie use chocolate syrup? If it was done in black and white, I wouldn't have complained. But he was spitting up chocolate syrup, and the plastic body parts being chopped up, and like they could have been a little bit more realistic if you're going to go that route. And yes, it's like
maybe that wasn't blood. Maybe he was coughing up poop.
Yeah, there actually is cases where you can actually throw up duty, where no joke or anything, it actually happened to my mom once. So, and come to find out that something burst in her stomach and everything like that, and sadly she almost died because of it. And but now going back to the more serious silliness, the repeats, I think we all agree that they were horrible. The fart cloud, whatever you want to call it, I couldn't understand it, and it was like, okay, it's like, okay, and then Sebastian came out of nowhere. Yeah, him. And it was just getting an impromptu interview and everything like that. This whole movie just reminded me of a community college project done on cable access. That's what I looked at it. It was like, it definitely has like a community college done in cable access, and that actually is a real thing, because they're but I think that that anybody doing this as a community college project and showing it on cable access would do a better job than this. And going back to my friend that did that short film of Champlin, about this murderous, about this murder, which really, if I ever get if my friend ever shows it again, I have to talk to him. It's an awesome film. I mean, it is really awesome. But but that, I would rather watch that than this. This was a mistake for even recommending this. But but then again, this is Tomb of the Terrible, and so I guess it's welcomed with open arms.
Yep.
And I strongly do not recommend anybody watching this on Taco Tuesday if you're that squeamish.
All right. I'm gonna go to. They changed it from being a murderous toilet at one point when he's talking to the last family that lived here all died of diarrhea. And it goes on to say, yes, even the toddler. No, I don't think he sat on the toilet. He just imploded. and the house is decorated like they went into the live, laugh, love section of a craft store and just bought everything there and put it on display and painted pastels. And like it's like they were using a show house, or instead of
it just looked like somebody's random house and everything. But not one person had a family member that had that lived in a Victorian house that would even remotely be tolerable than to be like a mock Amityville house. I think that would have been a lot better. It just looked like somebody's house, and especially with the pictures.
Yeah, they have all these family pictures, but in the beginning, out of the people who die, it's all the same guy. They just keep giving him different outfits to wear. And at one point, even his mustache is like part of his fatality. Like it attacks him and his mustache falls off. This exceptionally fake mustache is just like, boom, I'm falling off. Throughout the whole thing though, and I'm with you guys, they're like trying to solve, this guy's a ghost hunter and he should know that he brings in his crystal and his crow feather, which does him no good because, well, the crow is on the side of the toilet. So it's just like, no, I'm not helping you out here. And through the whole time, the Bible is sitting here, and we see this over and over and over. And at the very end, the guy's just like, I don't know what to do. I'm trapped inside, I'm trapped inside this house. My crystal will not work. My crow feather will not work. And he's sitting down on the table. What could I possibly use to, the Bible? Are you kidding me? The Bible? And this is the best, guys. Okay, you saw all the weird visuals. When he goes in to fight the fucking toilet with the Bible, he doesn't read from it. He starts assaulting the toilet, just like violently beating it with the Bible. And there's explosions. And at one point he opens it up and it's like, oh, is he going to read? No, he's using it as a shield from the fire that's coming at his head.
You think he would have had holy water too?
Well, he was on vacation. Apparently nobody in Amityville could be bothered to run him by a church or anything. I mean, he was in that tiny little car. But yeah,
rent a car.
So but this huge scene with all these terrible, terrible, terrible special effects. And this is how it ends with the toilet. It surrenders.
using a white hand towel.
Yeah, I'm totally spoiling this for you guys because you aren't going to fucking watch it. And if you are, you don't care if you've already seen it because you're going to be like, yeah, I got to see this shit for myself.
Yeah,
No, this was a fucking bad movie, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. Like, I did laugh. There's some where I just sit there and we did Manos, Hands of Fate, and I still don't accept that that's a movie. I would watch
the Riff Tracks version of Manos, which is one of my favorites.
And we know the whole story behind why it's so bad, or at least partially why it's so bad, but they're like trying to convince me. I'm like, no, I don't care.
I love it. So, and I have theories on it. So, but I can understand why people don't like it.
Yeah. But so this wasn't nearly the worst thing that we have watched. It wasn't even the worst Amityville that we have watched. But yeah, I'll give it that it tried, but it really just went weird in the things that it showed up. Like none of the fight stuff, like you were saying, it was like fighting, like, okay, the toilet should do toilet things. It has a knife and it has, like, you have to be near, and it had a gun. Why didn't it pull the gun on him when he's fighting it? No, it's shooting flames and sharks and velociraptors at him instead of using any of the things that it killed people with already in the film. So, okay, now is the time in the show where we take a moment. We are going to do an ad break. This is called Paying the Bills. And then we will come back and we will give our ratings out of 10. And whether or not we would suggest this for other people to watch, and doing so on a website because you are required to so that other people know what to find, does not count. It has to be if you would in real life tell somebody to watch it. And yeah, and then we'll be spinning to see what we get to watch next week. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. If you need to, run and visit your own death toilet.
Greetings and shabibans. We are the Retro Reductibus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
Yeah, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite seems trying to say is that on Retro Redoctopus, we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh.
And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Door King Podcast Network with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brick.
You can listen to Retro Redoctopus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.
Welcome back, everybody. It is now time to rate the movie and say whether or not we would suggest it to anyone else. Sam, you're first.
All right. I would say I'd probably give us a 3 out of 10 if we're going to do the out of 10 scale. It's not without some merit. And I think I would recommend it to people that are ready for low budget cinema, especially micro budget cinema, and what that means in 2024. And to have a sense of humor. I would not recommend it to anyone normal or anybody that would get angry about it. Which people all the time ask me, "What are you watching?" And my wife says, "Don't tell them what you're watching, because they'll try to watch it and they'll get upset." So I think, I would tell people, you also, if you hate a movie, that's cool, because like you don't have peaks without valleys. So it's like you don't know what you hate unless you see a bunch of stuff you hate. So experience all movies. That's what I say.
Okay. Friday in Chaos.
Bad thing is, this movie makes me miss Prey.
You've upset the squirrel. Out of 10, what do you give it?
I have to go with a 0 on this one because wow.
Wow. And we don't. Is that your first 0 or your second?
Think my second. It's right there with Prey.
Okay. And I'm assuming you don't recommend it to anyone?
No.
All right. Friday?
As for sharing it, yes, I did not only put it in the normal places, I sent it to my sister and brother-in-law to make them be tortured too. So, outside of that, I give it a 2.5 because it had a followable plot line. They tried to put it in a good sequence. They tried.
Okay. All right. Tom Dog.
I give this a solid deuce. Pun intended.
Oh, hey, Stefan, we're wrapping up.
Yes.
A little late this time.
Yes.
Would you recommend it to anyone?
I would not recommend this to anybody because especially the people who I have not met before, I want to be able to establish some sort of relationship if they want to become a fan base of mine. I would not recommend this to them. I would even recommend this to my worst enemies. And however, I would recommend it to to all the scam callers that I always get in the robocalls. And I said, no, but I would recommend you watch a nice movie if you want to, sell me stuff. And, there's a movie called Amityville Death Toilet. I strongly recommend you watch it. You will love this movie.
Okay.
So,
wow, I like this better than all of you, which is rare. It's because I hate toilet humor, like a lot, a lot, and I was like, I'm giving this like a 4, and
wow.
yeah, and there's actually a couple of people I know that I would recommend it to. Like not a lot of people that I know, like not my mom, but like maybe Mads, maybe a couple of the kids. I think they would think it was funny. My nephew would probably get a kick out of it and such. But me giving the high rating is really weird because I am the like, no, fuck this. This was stupid. This doesn't count as a movie person. But I think it was just that it was probably because there was a crow in it that like made me enjoy it. But now is the point where we try to read any 5-star reviews, and we don't have any of those. So we're going to do the only review on Amazon is a 1-star review by Placeholder. Cheaply made. Verified purchase, stupid. Didn't finish it. Returned it. We'll move on.
I gotta check the YouTube comments.
We'll move on to we have Sam's review over on IMDb, but he's here, so we're not going to give his review. He gave it a 3 there as well, though. The only other one there is D-. Didn't hate it, but oh my God. This was 5 minutes of content stretched out over an hour. There were like 3 actors, a few wacky nonsense things, and the whole thing felt like it was shot on a whim with a phone. This must have been like a 24-hour make a horror movie challenge or something, or a movie made by 12-year-olds with help from their dads. I wouldn't recommend this movie, but I would challenge anyone to watch it. If you enjoy absolutely intentionally awful sub-indie horror-esque video rambles, that's very specific, then this is for you. It will test your fortitude. Good luck, and may every deity have mercy on your soul. I literally had to take Tylenol after watching this. So, yeah.
That's a good review. That's a positive review.
Yeah. I mean, 2 out of 10, but you know, it said pretty much what we said, and it took us an hour to do it. But
I think and the only bad movie is a boring movie. So yeah, there's some boring parts in this. So but the fun parts, when you have a toilet pulling out a gun, that makes up for the boring parts. So
yeah,
that was actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
That actually was pretty funny.
I did enjoy the gun. I wish I could have gotten a good screening of it, but I filled up all of our. You only have 100 images that you're allowed on StreamYard, and we have enough like stuff that we have to have here that I couldn't just keep doing. I almost made a slideshow. I was gonna be like, okay, and then I'm like, I'm not making a PowerPoint slideshow so that I can get in all of the images of Amityville Death Toilet, because
I mean, that sounds like a noble endeavor. So yes.
Yeah, I was like, when I thought in my head together, PowerPoint presentation of Amityville Death Toilet, I was like, I can't have that be something that could eventually be on my CV. I don't want that to somewhere show up. And anyway, all right. So now is the time. Are you ready? Are you ready, Jenny? This is when
yes, I'll be.
It is the third one down. So
yes, I just hadn't clicked on the brand yet. I'm ready when you are.
Okay. It is now time to spin. So 3, 2, 1. What will we get next time? Yay! We're going to get Amityville Exorcism 2017, which, oh my God, you guys are going to hate this so much. This one is a precursor to Amityville in space. So you get the same, we're going to have the same priest in there. And this is before he got good at making
it's a rough one.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. But it's got some moments of hilarity in it that did really good. They obviously got a much better budget further on so that they could do some of the special effects. But yeah, this one's going to hurt a little bit, guys. So sorry, not sorry. It was the movie that inspired me to put this whole thing together in the hopes that I could randomly force you to watch this. So yes, it's going to happen. So, all right, time to wrap everything up. Sam, where can we find you? What do you do? And how would you like people to reach out to you?
You can reach out to me. Go to my site, bnsaboutmovies.com. bnsaboutmovies.com. My podcast is BNS About Movies, and it's updated every Friday. And there have been a lot of bad movies. Staying Alive and Rhinestone are this week's 2 movies. Rhinestone's a movie that'll make you question Bob Clark as a director, but I still like it. And you can watch. We'll be back October 7th for Driving Asylum, which you can find on our YouTube and Facebook channels. And we do 1 or 2 movies every week. I know 1 or 2 of the ones I'm always told I don't get to pick a lot of the movies because I delight in tormenting people with bad movies. So I could really pick like a wheel of movies for you guys that would make you question reality and all that you hold dear. But I'm excited if you ever want some. You'd be like, oh, why did you pick Mummy and the Curse of the Jackals? Why did you give this movie to us? These are the kind of movies that I pick. But thanks for having me too. This was awesome. Super fun meeting you guys.
Loved having you on. You'll have to come on more. You're great. You fit, man.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Friday in Chaos, where can we find you?
Find her.
You're lazy.
Yes, I am.
That's why
Jenny?
I made sure you had things in the where you find links go. The links are where links go for him if you ever want to look up his stuff. Fake Horror, Owlite, my pages are Friday with the Library in the Blue Box. And my author page is Jennifer Elliott. I'll answer you on all the pages. I'll even pretend to be the people you're actually trying to reach.
Especially me.
Tom Dog, where do we find you?
Okay. You can find me on my YouTube channel, Tom Arcade69, Bro Pro. We got a good show lined up this week on Channel X. I'm going to be reviewing Amityville Dildo, and then next, starting for the month of August, we're going to be doing an entire month of Ghostbusters. We're doing a Ghostbusters month. We're going to do all the four movies, not the 2016 one because I already reviewed that one a long time ago. But we're going to be on Channel X. We're going to be reviewing the Ghostbusters movies, 1, 2, and then the Afterlife and Frozen Empire, or whatever it's called. And I'm also going to be doing my annual live stream, which is a Tom Dog Plays. We're going to be doing Ghostbusters the video game. That's going to be coming up sometime next month too, as part as Ghostbusters month, and also Wrestling Prime on Saturday, and counting down the weeks until we launch our spinoff next year, and also don't forget to stay informed and all that. Ring the bell to stay notified, and face hug that subscribe button.
All right. And if you want to find me, I'm in the show notes up, down, or below. If you go to the Carrie Sanders page, Kari, that is me. You will notice that my avatar is this crow. And yes, I am judging you all of the time. Once you go there, you will find my author page, my stuff on Owlite, my stuff for splash pages. Tomorrow night, we have a splash page show. We're going to have awesome Stuart Sager on. So we're going to catch up with him after Terrificon, see how everything's been going. He's had a lot of shows going on. And if you can, try to get a hold of his, you will not find them digital. He does not put them up digital, but Wise Old Owl is his most recent work, and Shiver in the Dark is one of his older works. But if you can pick those up at a comic book shop, he is a fabulous writer and an amazing artist. He does a lot of cover work and a lot of work for other people's stuff too. He's got this great like washed darkness kind of feel going for him. But yeah, so until next time, folks, be ready to watch one of the worst that I've ever seen, and have your friends spayed and neutered. And as James would say if he was with us right now, if you've still lasted this long, seek help.
You're still here.
There's no help for us.
I said get out. What the hell? The movie's over. Go home. Get out of here. You're gonna have another sequel. I don't want that.